Okay, let's do some work. Hey everybody, welcome back to This Old Trike. So it's the weekend again, and we're out here in the shop trying to figure out what needs to be done and what's going on. And I'm looking at my list. This list is kind of a prioritized list of all the things I need to do before this photo shoot, where I'm going to line everything up. Every Honda ATC that Honda sold in the US, plus the 88 Big Red from England. I only lack one, an 85 ATC 200ES, which, yes, they do exist. They were sold in Canada, they were sold in England, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. So if you know about one, please let me know. I'd love not to import one from across the ocean again, because that was quite expensive. But so that's what we're doing. That's in 2 weekends, not next weekend, but the week after. So right now I am in preparation mode, and I'm looking to get some of the projects done that I've needed to do for a while, mostly cosmetic. There's been a number of machines that over the years have developed flat tires, whether they need a tube or the tire has just dry rotted and is no good anymore. It's terrible when that happens, but sometimes that happens, and I'm dealing with a little bit of that. Some of these things are cosmetic, like racks need to be put on, some decals, really not major stuff, but a bunch of it. So I'm trying to knock these out. I've got a list here, and what I've been working on right now is I have a 1987 ATC 125M that I got for a very good price back probably 3 years ago, maybe more. Those are very hard to come by. One of the rarest machines that you'll ever see is a 1987 ATC 125M. They called them the mini reds, little reds, and mine, I sourced better fenders for it. I redid the tank. It was all there. It was in pretty respectable shape to begin with, but it's had these, well, let me show you. So we're dealing with some weather, so I'm going to try to talk fast before more rain happens. But this is my 87 125M. Like I mentioned, I had the tank redone last summer, and these are actually 86 fenders. If you know that the 86 had that decal and the 87 didn't, you may have already picked up on that. But otherwise, this is pretty much how I got it. I did find this Speedo on a different machine, and I'm halfway through installing that. We'll get to that at another time, but these rims and tires are what came on it, and you can see that that gold color is not correct. They should be cloud silver, like pretty much every other Honda steel rim, and these are a split rim. So if you know anything about split rims, they had a different style bead than the bead on a traditional tire. Let me show you what I mean. So these two tires look alike at first. They are Atsu Pro-Ams that came on 125Ms, 185Ss, 110s, 200Ss. So very popular tire, very common. But those machines, anything 110 and 125M had split rims. 185S and 200S had a solid rim. So if you look at the bead here and compare that to the bead here, I went over this in my a different 125M video. I think it was the second one I posted, so you probably haven't seen it, and if you haven't been watching me for a while. But if you make sure to subscribe, you will see everything that I put out. But what's the difference between these two beads? This bead is thinner, that one's thicker. This one is for a split rim. you need a big, fat, soft bead to seal up and get an airtight seal on a split rim. And I'll show you the difference in the rims because it'll make more sense. This is designed to pop over the bead that is in the rim, the little bump that seals that in, where on a split rim, you don't have that. These are kind of an anomaly, almost a hybrid, where this almost has a bead, but that's not really a bead. It's a straight wall tire. And there's plenty of videos out there that discuss that. But what happens is your thick beaded tire goes flat, dry rots or whatever. You need a new one, and you don't know any better, so you just hop on eBay or Amazon or go down to the Walmarts and get yourself a Changshin, which is a great tire. You know, they're affordable, they're fine, but the thing is, they're not designed for a split rim. They're not designed for a split rim, and here's what happens. What I mean to say is here's what happens when tires that aren't meant for split rims are put on split rims. These tires would go flat on the back of this machine. The front, not so much, but the tires on the back would go flat. And somebody has figured it was a good idea to put in Fix-A-Flat. And this is what it does to the inside of your rim. These are designed, they have a gasket that goes right here. Maybe it's on the other rim, right there. So that's all rusty crusty. It's all juicy in there. Thankfully, this one isn't that bad. It's got some rusting and corrosion going on. It's not as bad as those, the ones closest to us. That's from the other rear rim. The other set is from the front rim, which happened to seal. By the grace of God, maybe they put some bead sealer around the outside. You can notice a dark ring at the top of the bead there, so maybe that's what helped them. But these rears, that is a tire for a solid rim, not a split rim, and that's what caused this issue. But what we're gonna do, and this is on my list of to-dos, I'm gonna take these rims to my local powder coater. Mike Wood is his name. I'm gonna put a link to his business in the description. He is a great guy, prices are right, and he does a fantastic job. He did a set of rims for my 86 that is in that first video. I'll post that up at the end, so look for the thumbnail to go to that video at the end. But we're gonna make this thing look like $1 million. I've got this rim, or this tire, and I think a couple others. Here's the thing. They might not be, I only have a couple tires. Here's the thing. They might be like this. If I don't have big, fat, thick wall bead Pro-Ams, I might use this, but I'll put a tube in it because I know it has a propensity to leak, and I don't want to have leaking tires. That's what I'm trying to get away from. It is the bane of my existence. That video of my son and I breaking the bead on this this little apparatus here is the K&L bead breaker. I think there's a different name for it. Bead buster. Here it is. These are not cheap, but they are really good. I've had a couple tires really fight me on this, and I ultimately won, but sometimes it takes WD-40 and heating things up and a couple strong words to get things to happen how you want it. But that focuses, the way that spring and that lever works, it focuses all that power that you're putting on that lever down onto that bead, and it really does a good job. So that's as far as I'm going with this machine today. until I can take these rims to get powder coated, likely tomorrow. But while I've got you here, let me show you what's going on over my shoulder. Real quick before I get to what I'm getting to, this is my Sandblast cabinet. And just yesterday, I made that little dolly for it. So it is mobile now. I can bring it out here. I don't have a permanent home for it yet where I can pipe that exhaust outlet outside. So I bring it out here to the door if I have anything to do. But you know what I learned is I need a water separator in a bad way. Most of the time when I've used this in the past, it was in the wintertime when typically there's a lot less moisture in the air, but I only got about 20 minutes on it before I started spitting water. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, due to condensation, when a compressor runs for a long time, it can pull moisture out of the air, and you need a water separator to help cut down on the moisture that's making it to your blast cabinet, because it will gum things up, and that's no good. So I've pasted over the water separator that I ordered. It'll be here in a few days, but I had to go ahead and I'll show you what I was working on. I had to go ahead and finish it manually, and that's coming up. So here's what I'm very excited about, and I'm gonna get as much footage of this happening as I can, but this is all graded with a couple things left to do. But tomorrow this becomes asphalt, blacktop, all the way out to my mailbox and all the way my road into my house, asphalt. And I am very excited about that. This is gonna make my life a lot easier, a lot less tracking dust into my workspaces and my storage spaces. So we are very excited. You might have noticed the gas pumps that normally reside here and there, and there's two more on the other end. They're inside the shop right now. They've been out for probably close to 20 years without any cleaning whatsoever. A change of light bulbs every so often as needed, but the spiders and pine needles and all that combined made them extremely messy, and we are going to clean them up before we put them out on these pedestals that I just poured, and it's really going to set this whole space off. So stay tuned for that video. Probably the next one I put out will be my blacktop video. So this is my to-do list that I'm working on, and on this to-do list is a blue 1970 US90 that, as you recall in a previous video, I went out and bought from my buddy John out in New Hampshire. This 90, I think I talk about it in the clips I'm about to show because I recorded them a couple days ago, maybe a week or more ago, but it had some things wrong with it, and so that is in the process of being stripped down. I'm going to break away and show you some of the work we've done on it so far, and then bring you back to present day. So tonight we're going to be working on a couple things I need to get underway for the photo shoot we've got coming up next month, less than a month away. And let me show you these two gems that we're gonna give a little bit of a facelift. We're not gonna go full blown on these because we just don't have time, but we're gonna do what we need to make them presentable for the big day when we're gonna roll everything out rather. And let me show you what we're working with. So as you remember, a couple weeks ago, a month ago or so, I went out to my buddy's place in New Hampshire and brought home this blue, Aquarius blue US90. This is a, what is this? This is a 70, 1970. I had a 1971. I didn't have a 1970. And this one came with a new old stock tank. Doesn't have the sticker that goes here or the emblems. I may or may not be able to reuse these emblems because those fork dents in the tank are pretty severe, and especially on this side, it's got a dent right there, so I may or may not be able to use that. We'll see if I've got something else that I can use, but I have reproduction front and rear fenders for this from Mike Palmgren that we're going to put on, in addition to the tank, which will take care of 90% of the cosmetics. I've actually got a seat that would be better suited on this, that is a reproduction complement of Mike Palmgren. And he gave me a paint code to use so I can paint the forks, the top triple, and that headlight bucket to match the Aquarius blue color. So that's what we're gonna do for cosmetics on this, and I don't think any of these tires are really holding air all that well. The front has some pretty bad splits. That rear has a pretty bad crack in the sidewall. The far tire on the other side might be something that can be saved, but we'll see. Haven't even tried to get this thing running. Just want it to look a little bit better. So that's what we're going to work on. So we've had a productive night here out in the shop. We got the front forks off the US90. I swapped out the rear tires. There's one over here, and there's one over in the corner that I've moved. These are two that came with the machine. They seem to be holding air nice. I've cleaned this one up with 303 Aerospace, which is highly recommended by the man who knows the most about US90s, Mike Palmgren. This one I did not clean up, just so I could show you a little bit of the difference. I think it's more noticeable than maybe in the daylight, but definitely in real life. So these are the fenders that I got from Mike Palmgren. I've pulled them out. This is a new old stock gas tank. You can see the color is spot on. Something I realized once I got it out was the hardware, the brackets that mount this to the frame that fit over the grab bar grommets there, and also latch on the front. They're not there. You can see them here. They're riveted on. So I didn't want to disturb this set of fenders. I just wanted to keep them as is. I had a less nice set over here, and I have taken the rivets out. I'll have to clean those up, probably spray them blue so they match, along with the forks, which reside over here, and the headlight shell, and the top triple, which you can see used to be blue. This used to be green. So we got to get that fixed up. Here is the front tire that will go on this machine once we are ready. There's the other rear tire. So that's the progress on the 90 for the evening. So here we are, present day. I've got the tires swapped out on the rear. I'm on hold. I've got some nuts and bolts ordered that were still available from Honda to dress up the forks and some of the front end parts, and a dust seal that was surprisingly still available. But right here, hanging in primer, is the front forks. I sandblasted probably 3/4 of this, and then ran into that moisture issue. So I had to sand them and wire wheel them and get them to where I needed them. I've got a can of Aquarius blue paint that will be sprayed all over these, as well as the triple, as well as the top triple. But this headlight bucket, I happened to find an Aquarius blue new old stock headlight bucket on eBay for 62 bucks. Couldn't help myself. I bought that. I needed the chrome ring anyway because the one that came off this machine was not that good. So here's the plan. My buddy Ben, he's a great guy. He's the one who came up and visited me last weekend. He has a can pre-mixed of parrot green. So I'm going to paint that parrot green and put that on a different machine. But the blue paint will go on the triple, on the forks, and I've got the seat brackets that will be riveted to the underside of the fenders. Those will also get a paint job. And then the front end of this can start going back together. Let me show you what else I got I'm pretty excited about. I bought two 90s for my buddy Ben, and he gave me all this extra stuff. This is straight from Mike Palmgren. You hear me mention him a lot. Awesome guy. Hit up vintagemotorsports.net for all your US90 needs and other stuff. But he had this box of goodies. Headlight switch rubbers. Rubbers for foot pegs. That looks like a back disc or a back drum cover. Seat tank rubber. This was missing that, so that's awesome. Thank you, Ben. But he had the tank emblems in here. I thought I was going to have to reuse or get new ones from Mike, but I have them here. I still need a brake cable from Mike and maybe a couple other things, but that's very exciting and makes this job a bit easier. These are ready to go powder coated rims that have been done by my guy that I mentioned. You can see this one was kind of corroded up, but I powdered it anyway just because that's a 3-bolt hub, so that's an early, like ATC 90s, early 110s had the 3-bolt split rim. Some of these are going to go, the 3 bolts are going to go on that 7590, which will be coming together as soon as I get the blue one out. Still have the 85 250R sitting here. But the reason I can't use these 4-bolt is because they are smooth. They are smooth. Like you saw out in the other room, that 86 and the 87 and 86 have that extra contour there. And I want it to be right, so I'm not going to use these. I will use different ones. Let me show you these rims right here. So these are non-split rims. You'll notice the difference where this has a straight kind of cup dish style. This has that shelf that goes down. This allows you to get the tire on because you can't drop in from one side and put these on. So these would be 200S, 185S style rims in that size, in that bolt pattern. So other machines also have similar rims, but these are not them. So that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. I'm up over 1,100 subscribers now, and it feels great. There's a lot of people that let me know that they're watching, and I appreciate that. I'm not a pro. I'm really cutting corners more than I'd like to admit, but you can call me out on it when I do. It's okay. I don't know that it'll change anything, but that's how I'm rolling right now. Some of it's out of convenience, some of it's for time's sake, but I thank you for watching. I'm really in crunch mode and trying to get things done for that photo shoot on the front lawn, where I'm going to line up every Honda that was sold in the US, and it's going to be fun. I got a lot of friends coming over, and looking forward to that day and not having to chase machines around with an air compressor and fill up tires that are going soft. And it's just when I look at these pictures, a year out, what happened last year, the year before, and something, like the rims on that 125M, they just jump out to me and I don't like it. So looking forward to not having as much of that this year. I'm sure something's gonna not get done and bother me a little bit, but stay tuned for the paving of the driveway to the shop. That video, I know it won't be a video all on its own. I'll weave in something. I might have to line some machines up on the pavement just to see how they look and take pictures, because that's what we do with this old Trike. We don't ride them, we just take pictures of them and video, and we keep them nice for the next guy, because why would we want to enjoy these old Hondas? I'm joking, of course. But thanks again. If you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss anything, and have a fantastic day.